Have you ever had one of those times where you've got to go and get your train and it says rail replacement bus and you've thought, how many times has that happened? And maybe it's due to engineering works, or here, the case at Edenbridge on the Redhill to Tunbridge line, it's due to a landslide. Back in December 2019, there was a huge landslide here. They've just repaired it, trains are just about to start running. They've invited me to come down and have a look and see the scale of the work that's taking place. But it does mean hat, glasses, orange PPE.
Today I'm visiting two locations that are being repaired by Network Rail. The first is just to the west of Edenbridge station, right near where the two separate lines involved actually cross. And the River Eden runs underneath the railways, which is what caused the first landslide.
So we're heading off to the site now. I say we, there's a whole gang of us. More importantly, there's a gentleman here called Christopher, who you may recognise.
Thank you.
Morning, Chris.
Morning, how you doing?
You've taken me for a ride in the Network Rail helicopter before, and other such things.
Yeah, made you many cups of tea.
You're very good at making tea.
Well,
Right.
I think I should pay credit to Bam Nuttall's tea because it was excellent. We Kevlar, and it makes it.
We're on the west to east line, which is Redhill over to Tunbridge. Normally there's just a couple of southern trains, they shuttle back and forth. Also, interestingly, it's really important, it's a freight line. You get a lot of freight trains that come off the Channel Tunnel heading west. They go to Redhill, so it's a really important route for keeping freight open.
Okay, so the landslip was on the other side of the railway, but we couldn't get to it because of where it was with the river and everything like that. So we had to cut through the railway embankment, dig a big sort of, not really a tunnel, but a trench, go through, rebuild the actual landslip site, and then come back and rebuild the railway afterwards. Which is why when you look at it from this side, there's so much work still going on. So on December 22nd, when the railway shut, the River Eden, which is here behind me, doesn't look like much, but it flooded, and on the other side of the railway it completely inundated the land. And basically what happened was we had what's called a rotational failure. So one side of the railway basically slipped like that. It kind of did a scoop like that. You had a toe rising up, all surrounded by waterlogged land, and the top dropped down and the tracks were left suspended, hanging in the air.
And it's a huge thing. I think people think landslip, a bit of earth slips down, but no. The scale is so huge that the roots of the trees moved and the whole embankment slid, and huge, heavy, huge trees just moved and stayed upright. Didn't topple, they stayed upright. So we've walked up to the top. The west-east line is behind us. I'm standing with, it's Derek, isn't it?
Derek Butcher, yeah.
I'm trying to shake your hand. Good morning. What's your job
I'm the
title?
route asset manager for geotech, drainage and off-track.
You've seen a lot of landslips in your time.
Yeah.
I think the thing that happens a lot is that to the regular passenger, they turn up to the station or they see on the news and it says engineering works, landslip, and they go, oh, rail replacement bus, but they don't have any concept from that what the scale of what the job is that you are having to do with. And right now, all the diggers and excavators are putting it back. But the site here was huge, right?
So this has been a real logistical challenge to get this particular site fixed. We've had to bring all the landslip material from the other side of the embankment through to this side, now being compacted. What you can see behind us is a sheep's foot roller.
This is kind of making it right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In effect.
So also reusing the clay material that we excavated from the other side.
So how many diggers or excavators did you have on site?
Probably about 10 diggers or so.
And what other logistical challenges do you have when, again, how can we impress upon people that this isn't a case of one chap and a bucket and just sort of filling in a hole? It's much bigger than that.
Well, the logistical challenges are getting material to the site, making sure that the fix actually lasts for its design life. So this fix will last hopefully for another 120 years or so. It needs to be done properly, which is not a temporary fix, this is a permanent fix. One of the other issues we've had here is the ecology. We've discovered great crested newts. Those are protected species.
Wow.
So we need to manage
So
those.
you couldn't disturb that?
No, well we can move them out of the way,
okay.
But they need to be moved to a safe place.
And I heard that there's the old Crowhurst Loop, which was closed by Beeching in the 60s, but over there, there was a badger set that
That's
you found?
right, yeah. So again, they're a protected species, so we need to be careful we don't go too close to the badger set.
That's incredible. So there's the environmental and ecological aspect you have to think of too. Did you arrange that on purpose?
Just for you.
No, you said a couple of class 37s. What train is that, Chris?
It's a test train. It's an Everrail test train.
That's the Liverpool test train. Is it? It's riding over this.
Yeah, because they haven't been able to run over this line because it's been closed. So now they're running over it to check that the linemen, make sure everything's all right.
And they have.
Listen to that.
I can hear the tractors. It's making the tractor noise. That is a beautiful. That is a beautiful noise.
Time period between.
Now that train just went through at 40 miles an hour. I believe the regular line speed around here is like 80 to 85 miles an hour. I've spotted out the corner of my eye some reflectors and a robot machine down there, which is similar to the one that I saw at Crossrail Construction at Paddington. Guys, so Derek's here with Dave. Am I right in thinking that that station is monitoring the track?
So we've got approximately 200 targets that are fixed to the running rails, monitoring to see whether there's any settlement or cant movement on the track. With thousands of tons of trains running across it, differential settlement can occur, and the monitoring is installed to ensure that we know if that settlement is happening, and we can take any actions to prevent any issues with the track quality.
So we're leaving the site at Edenbridge. All the guys are there. That's not it. No. It's like, you know, bad luck doesn't come in ones, sometimes it comes in threes. In this case it comes in twos. Quite close to Edenbridge, just down the road, another landslip occurred. Which means that trains are terminating at Lingfield at the moment, whereas this one is back open today and trains, as you can see, are running for the first time today. The one at Lingfield is very much still being repaired, so we're going to pop down there and have a look at that. So here we are on site at the second site, which all I know is somewhere near Lingfield. If only there was a man walking past to tell me. Here he is. Hey Chris, where are we?
Hey bro.
Hey,
we're
bro.
in a wood near Dorman's Land.
If you go down to the woods today,
yeah, you're going
near
to find a
Dorman's Land,
massive site.
you'll find another
of landslips.
Is it another landslip?
It's 5.
5?
Yeah, 5 landslips. We never do things by half.
You don't, do you? No.
Jeff, you know this.
And so, the PPE is back on. They've given us earplugs this time. Basically, we're on the branch that runs down to East Grinstead. And a week after Edenbridge had its landslip, the report first came in of a landslip just south of Dormans. Again, generally, just to summarise, a lot of rain in a very short period of time fell on a lot of Victorian structures and embankments. The trouble was, it didn't just happen once. It happened 5 times. There have been 5 separate incidents, all sort of generally within the same area, just south of Dormans after the viaduct before East Grinstead. And so this whole huge site, and you can see this temporary path that we're walking along now, was constructed to take us to the site, and the work is still very much taking place in between Dormans and East Grinstead. The trains right now are terminating at Lingfield. They even had to build a temporary car park at Lingfield so that people from East Grinstead that would normally park there would drive to Lingfield instead. But we're on our way to see the works. Viaduct, in case that wasn't abundantly obvious.
Okay, so we're here at between East Grinstead and Dormans, and what's going on behind you is we're building a wall of sheet piles. They're 30-metre piles, and they're basically long sheets of steel which interlock like that, and they're hammered into the ground. And they go deep into the ground and they hold the railway up and stop it from moving any further. Once the wall's been done, then we backfill it with usually Type 1 aggregate railway ballast, and then profile it, and the railway sits on top, and we run trains again.
These are the steel piles. I'm shouting because I've got earplugs in. Can I sit? I mean, there's a gag in here somewhere about I shouldn't sit like this because I'll get piles, right? I'm aware that there's a bang, bang, bang noise behind me. But look, you can see over my shoulder up there, you can literally see the slip. And there's a signalling cable, a black cable, that's just kind of sagging down slightly. This is number 2 out of 5. Just but they're going to let us go up on the track where it's a bit more impressive. Again, recognising there's some thudding behind me, we've climbed up the steep embankment. Number 2 was down there, number 5 slip was over there. All these slips are in a very short space of each other. And number 1 slip is right here. We've come to this one because you can literally see the sleepers just resting on nothing. Where it's falling away at the side. It's a little bit freaky to see. I've been told to hold out my hand. Here we go. What is that?
So this is ash and clinker. It comes from steam engine boilers and was used in the Victorian times to top up embankments, primarily when they started to subside, and was the most available material that they had at the time.
I'm trying to do a wrap up, but they just keep on the piling noise. Can't say thank you until the noise is. So we're all done, we're off site, we're back at the compound. Remember, this is just temporarily built as well. It's just been built on a site, on some land near to where the landslip happened, so they can have access and an office and toilets in place. They can get the workers to the site. My thanks to Network Rail, thanks to Chris, thanks to Dave, most of all thanks to Derek for having me. I hope you can see now that when there's a landslide or trains are terminating early, it's a really, really, really big job. Lots of construction, lots of effort, and so much behind it, and a lot of work goes in to getting the railway back up and running again.